In 1 Corinthians it says, were you called when you were a slave or you a servant? Then you do all things to God's glory. Now, not to men, but to God. You do a good job. Because everything a Christian wants to do, he wants to do it good, man, to God's glory. It says, but if you can gain your freedom, then take it, you know. And I was thinking about the civil rights movement down in the South, Mississippi, Alabama. That whole thing was Christian, man. It came from the churches, you know. And they were tired of being humiliated and treated like have to walk around with their tail between their legs all the time like dogs, you know. So Martin Luther King and a lot of other people, man, they were all spiritual. All their songs was from God, you know. And they had no fear, because there is no fear in love. In the truth of God, there is no fear. So they marched and they spoke without any fear, because they knew that God was with them. That's the only thing that's important in this world, to be with God, you know, to know that you're doing His will. That's a beautiful thing. So all the ministers and Martin Luther King, and there was a lot of them. They're all men of faith. That's where it came from. That's why they said no violence. They were going to be like Jesus Christ, so you could clearly see who's in the wrong. Now, if they decided to fight back and start shooting police and everything, it would become confused. You wouldn't know, well, who's really who's right and who's wrong. You know, well, they're both doing bad things. But when these people had faith in God and just went out without ammunition, without guns, but with the word of faith, that's special, man. That's what's good. And when the devil finally see that they lost the battle, that they had to give freedom to the blacks in Mississippi and down south, well, he knew that Johnson came out, and they said, okay, yeah, we're going to give it to him and all that. But the thing is that the devil knew what the real deal was. His fight was against Christianity and against the truth. And it has been ever since then on a really grand scale. So instead of the devil saying, well, we're going to keep segregation and all this, the devil says, okay, you go ahead and mix. But I'm going to, something you don't know, because most people think, oh, it's just civil rights. Most people don't know that it was all about Christianity, following Jesus Christ. That's what it was all about. And a lot of people didn't see that, and those that didn't see got caught, because Satan says, I'm going to come up from underneath and grab you another way. And they give him affluence, and he started corrupting their morals. Christianity was looked down upon. There's a lot of black people that are still spiritual, that are still Christians, that have the love God, that never left Him. But a lot of these young kids today and everything, man, they're corrupted along with the rest, you know. And they got to find out what their roots really were, man. God is a friend of the oppressed. That's why they drew close to God, because God was their friend. He is a friend of all the needy and the oppressed. So they drew close to God. But now with Satan, well, I'm going to corrupt you through affluence. You know, you're going to have lots of plenty, but of course happiness never comes from money. Man's life does not result from the things he possesses, Jesus Christ says. So beware of every form of covetousness. That's not where the happiness lies, but it comes from real faith. And now what do we got? Now what do we got? You know, back in those days, man, I remember being with people of faith like that, and you felt like you were in heaven, man. You felt like you were in heaven on earth, because you were surrounded by your brothers and sisters. And it was love. There was no oppressors there. No oppressors at all. You felt like you were home again. And everybody was in that spirit, and nobody ever thought of turning it into something nasty. Now what are the now what is the concerts and entertainment gatherings about? Foul things. Like, what is that, Miley Cyrus? They're all being lesbians and all this gross things. You see, so Satan is working real hard, and he's got the twisted all the people, and people aren't smart enough to know what the thing is, what the contest is, what the deal is. It's about God versus Satan, man. And Satan is winning because people do not know God. That's why now people have got to turn to him before they lose everything, because it's going to go down the drain real quick. See, so it's all about God, and it's all about Christianity, and it's all about keeping morals. People loving each other, doing good to one another. Not giving evil for evil, but good for evil. Not resisting the wicked, like the civil rights movement was about. They were killed, they were hanged, they were lynched. The police and the KKK, they worked together. And they were a barbarian, prejudiced, hateful, wicked, corrupt people that did those things. And, it was the same with Jesus Christ. He spoke against the Jews, the wicked religious leaders. And he wasn't violent, but he spoke against the Jews and what they were doing. You see, and God doesn't change. People say, oh, that was a long time ago. God told the end from the beginning. He knows who the enemies of Christianity are. Those that deny that Jesus Christ came in the flesh. They are the Antichrist. And they've been working against Christianity all since. That's where all the power lies, where the money lies. And that's the key to understanding things. And not to be swayed by it, but to have faith as your foundation. To have faith as your walls of protection. And not money, not what physical things. That's garbage. Paul said it was all garbage. So real faith is your walls of protection. And that's your ticket to the kingdom of God, man. Don't be led astray. Keep your eyes on what is really going on. I feel sorry for the young people because they don't know. They don't know what we've seen, what's grown out of what used to be. And it's getting darker and darker, and the truth is getting smaller and smaller. And that's why Jesus Christ says, pray to the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth more workers into the harvest. For the harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Therefore you pray to him. See, so it's good to have an understanding of what's going on now and